Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for those who reached out and asked for ways that you can start. How can you start bringing diversity within your homeschool? And like I said in a prior video, it all starts with you as the parent being open, being flexible, and reading and being intentional, because you can include diversity within your homeschool not only on Black History Month or Hispanic Month or Asian Pacific Month, but you can weave it in to your normal everyday routine, like you do for grammar, like you do for spelling, like you do for English, like you do for math, like you do for science. You can weave it in. You can choose to have 1 week a month where you focus on projects. That's what we do. We have 1 week a month where we focus on completing projects. I give projects and I tie all types of elements for that particular project, for that particular week, every single month. And within our homeschool, we have a complete subject that's or area for African American studies and African studies. So that is a course every year that our children take. And once they reach the 7th grade, those courses will count towards high school credit. But in terms of, bringing other types of diversity, we weave that into everything we do. Either we're studying an individual, studying an event, or we're talking about a current event that deals with another group of people. So that's what we do within our homeschool. But again, I'm just giving you ideas of how you can weave this in to your homeschool. So let's start with the women's rights. Of course, this is European women and non-European women, but you could use this to study those individual women, but you can also focus on the period of time in which these women made the hugest or the biggest impacts. So this one would help you focus on not only the person, but you can also focus in on the era or the timeline of history in which this individual person made an impact, and that'll help you bring in diversity within your homeschool, because whatever they were doing, there was other things happening within the US or around the world that impacts another group of people. This here, I think her name is pronounced Malala. Wonderful story here. A story of bravery, courage. This is an awesome story here. And she also has an autobiography that you can bring in to this as well. And you can definitely study non-Western culture with this one. You can study this awesome lady here, Supreme Court Justice. This is a really good book here. It is the 100 Hispanic Americans who shaped American history. And when people say American, I want you to frame your mind in understanding that the word American doesn't mean United States. We have two continents, North America and we have South America. So when many people refer to American outside of the Western world, and sometimes in the Eastern world, they still make that same mistake. But American is North America and South America. So some of these folks had an impact not only in North America, but also in South America. So here are all the folks that is discussed within this book. And again, you don't only have to wait until Hispanic Month to bring in or talk about these people. If you are going to do diversity, and you don't even have to call it diversity, please don't call it diversity, just call it history, or you can call it a people study, or you can call it a prominent person study, whatever you want, because when you put the word diversity in there, it sounds like you're being forced to teach them something outside of what they're naturally accustomed to learning. In my humble opinion, I may be totally wrong. So no need to call it or give it a name. It's just it's simply we are learning about people and the role they played in history around the world, and maybe specifically within North America. And it's just a natural thing, okay? So as you study these individual persons or people, you can also study the timeline of events that took place surrounding when they made an impact. You can do character analysis. You can compare and contrast two persons or two people that were similar and two that were completely different. Okay. Let me show you what one looks like. It's just a very brief summary of that person, and whoever your child may find interest in, and interest is based on their own interest, or if they are aligning themselves to a particular career field, scientist, or anything in STEM, historian, a teacher, an activist, whatever it may be. If they find someone that leans in that direction, then you can absolutely dive into that. And look at that. They give you some words that are in bold, like the Mexican American War. So at this time, you would study that. The War of 1812. At that time, at this time, as you're reading about this person, you can study that. So I like this book because you can go through this book and you can determine when this particular person played a major role in the timeline of history. And then as you're studying that within history, you can choose to select specific individuals to talk about. Same thing goes for this one. This is specifically about African Americans. Let me show you who is discussed in this book. And the same thing we spoke about with the other book. You can look at bold words, and based on what you're studying in your timeline of history, you can bring in other people. Or not other people, I'm sorry. You can bring in people. Let me show you this one. And you can also, create questions. You as a parent, I'm always reading before I give my child something, especially in history, I'm always reading it first. I'm always creating mini lessons. So you can read it first, and you can then create mini lessons for them. So with Benjamin Banneker as an example, if your kid is into astronomy or if you're studying astronomy, this is a great time to bring in him. Okay. So these are just some examples. Okay. This is another great book here. I'm not showing you all of the resources that I have. I will put out videos throughout the year that gives you some additional resources. Again, I'm just giving you some easy starts, some places that you can just, that doesn't require a lot of preparation. You can just pick up, read. It'll take you about 15-20 minutes to read, maybe 30 minutes to read and do a little bit of research, and then do additional research with your kid, with your children. You don't have to do all the legwork. You don't have to do everything in the beginning or at the forefront. You can come in and you can even say to your child, hey, I don't know a lot about this area. I'm interested in learning and I want to learn with you. So let's learn together. Let's read together. Let's research together. You pull some information. I pull some information. Let's take a few days and let's talk about what we've learned, and let's see if we can do some synthesizing. Let's see if we can do some analysis. Let's see if we can bring in current events that's taking place in the U.S. and around the world. And let's see if we can determine how history plays a role with what we currently see in our world today. Does it play a role? Does it not play a role? If so, why or why not? Great conversations. This is a great book, an Indigenous people. I would recommend that Parents, read these types of books first. If you don't know about this stuff, read it yourself. Read it first so that when your children come to you with questions or when they come to you with newfound knowledge, you have a frame of reference to pull from. So read it before them and then say, hey, you read. A lot of times I take these types of books, I read, I make notes, I highlight, I put sticky notes, and I will get another copy, clean copy for my child, or I will give him the copy that I have written and highlighted in and have sticky notes in. That way, he is not only reading what is on text, but he's also reading my thoughts. Okay, so this book is excellent. And again, this book is telling you the history of the U.S. from the perspective, the lens, the viewpoint of the indigenous people, the American Indian, the Native American. Okay, so this is a great book. This is a long read. Your kids may not find this book interesting because it is not told in the form of a novel. It's told in the form of, regular history. So you may have to sit with them or read to them, or you may not give them the book at all. You may choose selected chapters based on, again, where you are in the timeline of history. Just showing you some stuff here. And challenge yourself, challenge your thoughts, because you may find out that a lot of things you learned as you were growing up and matriculating through public school and college, that some of the things that you were told or you interpreted were possibly wrong. Okay. All right, guys, these are the books I wanted to show you. Thank you for, again, asking the question. Keep them coming. As always, keep homeschooling on. And until we meet again in another video, be blessed. Bye.